Hey, I just want to give a quick thanks to one of our sponsors at Simple Programmer, which is Dev Mountain Bootcamp. You should go check them out. The link is in the description. They are a coding bootcamp, and they can teach you web development, iOS development, UX design, a lot of good stuff. I get a lot of feedback from a lot of you out there that email me and have told me about Dev Mountain, so I decided to check them out myself, and I like what I found. I like their programs. They offer some 12-week intensive programs. They also offer some after-hours programs, which I know that some of you will like. So go check them out. You can see the link in the description below, Dev Mountain Bootcamp, and a big thank you to them for sponsoring Simple Programmer.
Hey, what's up? John Sonnemas here from simpleprogrammer.com. So I got a question about homeschooling that I thought I'd answer. I've got a lot to say on this subject, but I thought I'd give you maybe a few quick thoughts that I have about this topic. I got this question, this email that says, "Hi John, thank you for sharing so much practical knowledge and wisdom through your videos. My only complaint is that there are so many videos in my subscription feed every day. It gets a little tough to watch all of them on a daily basis, even though I wish I could watch all of them, as every video is a treasure trove of wisdom." Appreciate that. In my humble opinion, it would be sufficient and easy on you and your followers if you released only a single video per day, though that's just my suggestion and you know what's best. I appreciate the suggestion, and I do want to address this real quick. A lot of people have asked for this, but here's the thing, like, you don't have to watch all the videos, right? I mean, I'm going to produce content at the rate that I want to. My goal is to hit about 2,000 videos on YouTube. That's going to require me to do 2 to 3 per day, and I like doing 2 to 3 per day, so I'm going to do it. And I know that some of you feel like you're missing out. Don't feel like you're missing out. Like, just because you don't watch every single video doesn't mean you're missing out. I have thought about doing a roundup, almost like a television show, where I take all the videos from the week and put it into like a 1 or 2 hour show that you could watch all of it back to back. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I don't know how I would do that. I might even package that up and sell that as a monthly subscription, so that if I'm going to provide that service, if you find that valuable, if you'd pay a monthly subscription to get like all of the content without any ads or anything, just all, you could watch a 1 hour, 2 hour, essentially television show per week, let me know. That's a possible solution. But I'm not going to really cut down the volume of videos, at least not for now. But I do appreciate that you guys, I'm not offended by this, right? Obviously, I appreciate that you all are saying that, hey, I want to watch them all, so don't make so many so that I can't watch them all. I appreciate that. My question for you is, what do you think of schooling education system for our kids? What do you think are the major pros and cons of homeschooling versus regular school education? Being blessed with an amazing and beautiful daughter who we've heard of and seen in your videos. Appreciate that. Are you planning to homeschool her or send her to regular school? Your wisdom and guidance on this important area would be much appreciated. Again, thanks for your free videos, paid courses, 10 ways to learn anything quickly, 10 ways to make money for your blog, how to market yourself as a software developer, which I've purchased. I'll put some links there. You can check out the links to those courses, which he's talking about. Appreciate that. And books, just started listening to Soft Skills on Audible. You can get that here, and it's great. Best wishes. So, okay, I'll address those topics. So let's talk about what I'm doing. So my daughter has actually we've been homeschooling her since she was like, I think probably about 2.5 years old. She learned to read really at about 3 years old. And when I say read, I mean actually read, like pretty competently. Now that she's just turning 6, she can read at probably like a 5th or 6th grade level, probably even beyond that. I mean, what could she not read at this point? She's been reading for such a long time. She can write at a pretty high level. She does math at probably a 3rd grade level, and she's kindergarten, right? At least for school age. So I've already been making sure that she is homeschooled. I intend to continue on that path. And there's a couple of reasons. I mean, I could go on, I'm going to try to keep this short because I could go on this topic for hours. And then maybe I will. If you guys are interested and you want to hear more about my philosophy on why I think homeschooling is good, but I'm going to give you the basic points here. And if you want more details, just let me know and ask some questions, and I can go into more depth. But essentially it's this. There's a couple of main philosophies here. One of them is that I was born into a system of mental slavery, just like most of us, where I was conditioned to follow rules for 12 years, where I was conditioned to believe that a teacher is an authority figure and that I have to raise my hand to go to the bathroom. I think I've talked about this a little bit, but essentially the world doesn't really work that way. The real winners in life are the ones who ignore the rules, who say that the rules are for everyone else. And once I figured out that I could break the rules, I could do shit that people said I couldn't do, right? I mean, hell, this YouTube channel, right? A lot of people would say, you can't make a YouTube video about that. You can't do that. You can't make a living giving people advice on YouTube or being a personal development guru for, not good, a personal development person for software developers, or you can't say stuff about, whatever topic, but I do. And I like it, all right? So I don't have to follow those rules, and that the rules are bullshit. So the number one reason, again, I can go into more details if you guys want, but essentially school, right, teaches us to follow rules, to listen, to be good cogs in the machine. And I have that mentality still in my head. Like I'll never be able to fully get rid of it, even though I try to shed it, even though I'm an entrepreneur now, even though I break the rules and I teach other people how to break the rules now. But I want my daughter, I would want, our generation of children to not be constrained by those same constraints, to realize that the world doesn't work that way, that the rules are for everyone else. And I know that sounds a bit cocky saying that, or that it sounds, I don't know. I don't know how you might interpret that, but it's reality. It's the truth, is that I believe that is a positive mindset to have, is that the rules are for everyone else. It doesn't mean, you see, that's a problem only when you don't combine that with self-discipline. Rebellion, when it's just a rebellion, no, I don't have to follow the rules, that's different. If you have that mentality of not wanting to follow the rules or thinking the rules are for everyone else, but you have self-discipline, that combination is the most powerful that you can have, right? When you just have the one or just the other, it's not quite as effective. So the second thing that I'll say here, again, I could talk about this for an hour or more, but I'm just going to leave it to these 2 points for now, and maybe we can revisit this later if you guys are interested. But the second thing here is that I do not believe that, first of all, public education systems teach effectively and efficiently. I believe it's a waste of time. It's a large waste of efficiency and how much time it takes to teach, because they're teaching to the lowest common denominator, because their teaching methods are not effective, because we should really learn on our own, that we can teach ourselves better if we learn our own, and that's what we're able to do with the homeschooling. And then also along with that the content that they teach is bullshit. It's crap. It's not useful. It's ridiculous. It's a throwback to a time when people were generalists and it was beneficial, and you couldn't Google everything on the internet, and that where information wasn't everywhere. Today, if you want to find out information, you don't have to be versed in it. There's so much information available out there, so that's free, that's so accessible, that we're teaching the wrong things, right? What you need to do, my opinion, honestly, is just, there's 4 things that you need to learn, right, as a child to succeed in life. Okay, 4 basic things, right? 1 is how to read. You got to be able to read, and so that has to be taught to you. Okay, you're not just going to pick that up. You got to do that. Okay. The second is how to write. If you can write, let me go back to read. If you know how to read, if you can read, you can gain whatever information that you want. Right? You can learn on your own. You can gain information, but you have to be able to read, okay? The second one is you can write. So if you can write, then you can express yourself, you can organize your thoughts, you can produce into the world, right? Not just consume, but produce, someone who can write. So writing is important. Being able to put words together and to have that skill, I think is essential. Writing is one of those most valuable skills that you can have. And the third one is mathematics. And the reason why I say mathematics is because it's, again, not something that you're just going to acquire. It does require training, and it has to be drilled into you. You do have to know, memorizing your multiplication and addition and subtraction and division and all of that is very, very useful. And so that has to be taught. I believe it's valuable. But
those are the three core things. And then all of those things enable you to do the one most important thing, which is to learn how to learn, right? I in the email mention of my 10 Steps to Learn Anything Quickly course. You can check it out here. But I promote that course, and I made that course because that's the most valuable skill that you could possibly learn in your life, is how to teach yourself. And so, in summary, without going too far, again, like I said, we could talk about this for a long time, but this is just a glimpse into the mindset of why. I could give you a ton of reasons why I think homeschooling is a much better choice. And I can combat I know that some of you have arguments against it with social and all that stuff, but again, we're not going to address that all here. But in summary, it's essentially this, right? If I want my daughter to learn how to teach herself, to be self-reliant, to be self-responsible, right? I want to give her the basic tools that she needs, like I said, the reading, the writing, and the mathematics. And then I want her to chart her own destiny, to not feel like she has to follow these rules, that she has to learn what other people tell her is important to learn. But she chooses what to learn. She figures out how to do it on her own with, of course, my guidance as much as possible. And that is going to make it so that she is able to do whatever she wants and not have the same kind of limitations that you and I perhaps were brought into. No fault of anyone, but just because we were indoctrinated into a system that is not going to allow us to fully grow to our capabilities. So that's where I stand on that. Again, like I said, there's a ton of stuff I could talk about this and the pros and cons, but those are really the two main reasons why I think that homeschooling makes sense. And it's not just homeschooling, it's about how you do it the right way. I think that's the key as well. So I anticipate that my daughter will basically have, high school education by the time she's probably like 10 years old, and be able to move on and then explore what she wants to explore in life. And that's, to me, that freedom is such an important thing. And in my mind, when I am giving her the homeschooling and not putting her into that system, is that I'm giving her freedom in her life for the rest of her life. All right, I hope that you found this video useful. Leave a comment below if you want to hear more about this, you got more questions, and don't forget to subscribe. Just click the subscribe button. I'll talk to you next time.